Hey everybody, hey ladies and gentlemen, this is Kyle, boy Kyle, aka Vulcan Wolverine. It's about 2 o'clock a.m. here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on April 9th, 2020. Um, a day before, wait, no, actually Passover started tonight at about 6 p.m. So we're in Passover right now. I wanted to go through some information that I found, and also wanted to play a little bit of the interview with Richie from Boston and James True. And I'm going to read some of James True's website. And I made a little video before this talking about how my live stream got disappeared because of a copyright thing. And I was just saying, I'm definitely not trying to spread fear or panic or anything like that. As a matter of fact, I want to do the opposite. Like I just want us to be prepared spiritually with knowledge of what's happened in our past. And so we see some signals here. They're going to die this week. We see the Surgeon General. Let's go ahead and play what the Surgeon General said again real quick while I get a little drink of Mountain Dew here. Let me go ahead and open it up full screen and play it. Just play it again for anybody who hasn't heard it. And we're gonna go over just some things that I found. Just some things that I found that kind of can tell us a little bit about like what are the warning signs for what's gonna go on. And I'll give some of my thoughts about what I think might be happening. And obviously I don't know exactly what's going to happen during Passover week. There's a lot of strong red flags, and especially how I feel, and probably a lot of you feel instinctively. I feel like it's been really bad so far. I mean, this whole targeting thing for me, then this event, this viral event that began in Wuhan and then spread to, what is it, in 180 something countries now, and is here, and they're saying the peak of it should be next week. It should be next week. So they were saying that on the 5th. So that'd mean it'd be during Passover the peak of it's going to be. Now what I'm worried about is, I'll show you some things that I'm worried about. Don't think everybody's just going to be killed in their homes or anything like that. I think we've got some really creepy stuff going on. But we'll get to it. Let's play this, just what he said on Fox News Sunday with Chris Wallace. Everything I put in this, I'll go ahead and put in the description too. So let's listen to what he says.
Joining us now, the U.S. Surgeon General, Vice Admiral Jerome Adams. Dr. Adams, the U.S. is now reporting 30,000 new cases a day. And I want to put up a chart that shows the curve of cases in Italy and China, which have leveled off and are now going down, and the curve on the far right there, here in the U.S., which is still in the early stages, and still headed up sharply. Given the course of the disease in China and Italy, and that we are weeks or months behind them, how bad is this epidemic going to be in America, and how long will it last?
Well, it's tragically fitting that we're talking at the beginning of Holy Week, because this is going to be the hardest and the saddest week of most Americans' lives, quite frankly. This is going to be our Pearl Harbor moment, our 9/11 moment, only it's not going to be localized. It's going to be happening all over the country, and I want America to understand that. But I also want them to understand that the public, along with the state and the federal government, have the power to change the trajectory of this epidemic. You mentioned Italy and Spain. They had a very, very hard time, and they're still having a hard time, but they seem to have reached their peak and are coming back down on the other side. And you say weeks, months behind, I would actually push back a little bit. When you look at their trajectory from about a month ago.
Okay, so he said it's going to be New Pearl Harbor, or 9/11. But then he's saying, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, like Italy. The numbers started to go down. We were coming down off the curve, so that is hopeful. That is hopeful right there. I'm just seeing a lot of signs that we know the top of the pyramid does a lot of rituals, like 9/11 was a ritual, Connecticut, all the FFs and stuff like that. and they have to tell us before they do it, right? They have to kind of give us warning signs. So I see this is one, and then Trump saying, you know, a lot of people are going to die, and we just got to get spiritually prepared for whatever comes. But let me show you this. Let's play this from the Richie from Boston. No, this is mine. I want to go to his right here. So this is Richie from Boston and James True, and I went ahead. I thought it was such important information, and because Passover's here, right? I wanted to, and my attackers really very insane right now if you're a targeted individual, because your attackers probably haven't stopped. The automated systems are still going, so we're still brutally being experimented on with frequency-based weapons, neuro weapons, external directed energy weapons. You know, while this is all going on, you know, they don't stop to help people or anything like that. It's almost like it's like the hive mind team members on the team attacking me. It's almost like they expected this kind of stuff to happen, which is it's really bizarre. It's really bizarre. But let's listen to a little bit of this. I hope the volume's up. The volume on that other thing was horrible. Listen to a little bit of this, and everybody should just watch it. And don't get scared, right? Don't get scared and have too much fear, but just having the knowledge that something may occur during Passover. And what James True is saying is that it would probably happen on Easter Day, because it's a point in Passover, like where in the past, that's when the angel of death came over. And the chosen people in their homes with the blood of the Lamb on their doors were not killed by the angel of death, and the firstborns were. So that was during Passover on Easter Day that happened, like in the past, like when all that was going on between the Jews and Egypt. So let's play this little part right here. Let me open it up full screen. If I open it up full screen, it's like my attackers freeze up my computer and it takes a long time, but let's just do it anyway. We'll just take our time and go through some of this information that I just wanted to show y'all. You know, I'm seeing some signs, like definite concrete, like, you know, even before this interview, which was this morning, I put out, you know, my live stream because my attackers don't think it is. But you know, I didn't know all this, all the information that James True has. So it's a really good interview. It's a really great interview. It kind of freaked me out, like. And the deal is, I've watched it 4 times. I never watch a YouTube video. Well, sometimes I'll watch a YouTube video like twice. I watched this 4 times because as he's talking, it resonates with me. What he's saying resonates as true. And a lot of it just sounds like, whoa, way out there, right? It just sounds like, ooh, that's just hoodoo, voodoo stuff. But what you have to realize is that a lot of the elites and anybody who's going to be in a position of great power is going to believe in a lot of this stuff, like Kabbalistic magic, the Talmud, you know, Masonic, witchcraft, and black magic, and white magic, and all that stuff. They're all really into it. So you got to realize, even though it may sound just like who would ever believe that, the death cult does believe it. The death cult does believe it. So let's listen to a little bit right here. Some things that they're talking about, because, so, you know, we know, right, that there's a frequency weapons grid, then the 5G is up in a lot of places and running in a lot of places, and then you got smart meters, computers, the wiring in your wall can be directed. The electromagnetic fields that the wiring creates can be directed to hurt people in their homes. That's been done to me as a targeted individual, and I think a lot of you guys, and then maybe some other people who don't even know they're targeted individuals, right? So we're talking about infrastructure within infrastructure that can harm people with electromagnetic frequencies, with gigahertz frequencies, microwaves, and then other things that maybe I don't even know about, right? And definitely the people that are talking about consumer 5G, they're not really talking about like 6th generation and 7th generation technology. So listen to what he says here. He speculates a little bit on what he thinks might happen. And then I've got a little spin on it. I've got not a little spin on it. I've got some more evidence of what I do really see coming up. Um, and then I think maybe there's going to be some kind of event during Passover, maybe like a, I don't know. I don't know. And like I said, guys, I hope they just fudge the numbers. I hope we reach a fake peak or whatever. And they say, oh, well, that was really bad. But it's just not how these people work. So let's play this, and we'll talk more about it. I've got a lot of other stuff to show.
Or the innocence, where you're extracting the consent from that. The censorship laws are already here, and they're only going to get worse. Part of why they made the internet so juicy is because they wanted to make sure everyone was pooling and putting their information on the internet, so then they could come and take it off again. Not to mention programmers. Because so much of what you're being programmed by is a speaker in the trees. You think it's a real person, but it's not. When you go into Twitter and you give your retort to somebody about government, that retort is stored in a database, and it's used by that same robot against someone else on the opposing side.
They're doing, James, they're letting us do this right now. I said this a couple of weeks ago. Why are they still letting us up? Because this everything we're saying, all these comments, it's all being used right now.
Yep.
But this morning I did get my first takedown notice. So 2 videos were taken down, and I had to go to copyright school, which means my channel won't be here very much longer.
Yeah, and a lot of creators are losing their monetization. Certain videos of mine have been taken down for just inflammatory content, right? That's why that live stream that got taken down, I was just sure that it was just it's not inflammatory, but controversial subjects, right? Controversial subjects. So I think there's going to be a whole lot more of that. It seems like with the censorship, it's like they did pull back. I think they pulled back, and what John X Army said is like they pulled back so that people would be glued to their internet, and not get kind of bored around their home and actually want to resist and rise up. So they leave it there for a couple of different angles, right? And I think that I think everything is about to change even way more than we're seeing, which is in a bad way, in a very bad way. Censorship being one of them. I mean, listen to what, like, I'm on a video and I can't say certain words. I'm like, I have to watch every word that I say, because all of the important topics, you can't say those words. And notice the words that you can't say. Those are the important issues that are the main dangers to people right now, to people in the world. And so they're doing this by the numbers. Taking away our right to say it tries to take it away out of our mind. So it's this propagandistic conditioning mind control on top of a lot of people being targeted, and their minds literally being manipulated with electromagnetic frequencies. This is already so far along. Targeted individuals know it, but that was a certain level, right? That was a certain level with the rest of the public kind of still, still not being affected by how horrible how horrible the tyranny had gotten. And a lot of people in a lot of places in the world were affected by it, but now the whole of the populace is physically, you can see it, they're targeted. And I'm not talking about everybody is being targeted by electromagnetic weapons, although 5G towers around everybody's houses kind of says yes, they are in a way, but I'm talking about like directly, right? But targeted, like their rights are being taken away, treated as if they have no more freedoms anymore. We're losing a lot of freedoms, so it's very, very, everybody knows this is very, very serious. The question just is, right now I can't say, well, this is what we should do, right? Because it's such a huge global issue. So many people are working on things and getting information out. So that's what I'm going to focus on. And I think that's knowledge is power in this. And James True talks about that a lot, that when you know that the ritual is going on, you can go from a lamb to a lion. And that's what we want to do. That's what we want to do. They want us to be lambs to the slaughter, to agree to stay in our homes, and then maybe do something very, very horrible over Passover. But we've got to become lions. We've got to resist. We've got to civil disobedience, but like on steroids.
But But just to state you're absolutely on that. So
it's only going to get worse from that point. As far as like internet-based stuff, this is not our medium. It seems like it, but it's not. This is not our medium.
To me, internet censorship, after all this is said and done, won't really make any difference. The people that are saying they're not going to get the biometric chip, because they've already straight up told you every way they can that this won't end until everyone has the chip. The World Health Organization did a live stream on March 30th, and I put that right out saying we have to go door.
And I want to tell people, go and watch TrueStream Media's video that they just put out on Bill Gates. He is the #1 source of income for the WHO. And that is a very scary thing when he is talking about vaccines, creating population reduction, and then you've got the World Health Organization rolling out any kind of initiatives for what's going on with this pandemic. This is scary stuff. I mean, this is New World Order stuff, and they're taking a giant leap here. They're taking a giant leap. I think with targeting a bunch of individuals over the years, that was a super giant leap, but they could keep most of the percentage of the public really, really asleep, just thinking there's nothing going on. Now this is a giant leap. It should startle everyone. It should startle everyone. And of course, that's why they have Q for a lot of the patriots that would be getting in people's faces and stuff to be like, oh, no, Trump's going to use all this and he's just tricking everybody. And then it's going to, he's going to take America back and it's going to be the greatest America. A lot of them, I was looking at the X22 report, and a lot of the comments started saying we're not seeing anything happening, starting to think we're getting fooled. A lot of them are kind of waking up. They're waking up, so there's good there. A lot of them are still like drinking the Kool-Aid and the cult, but a lot of them are like, we're not seeing any. They're seeing all the bad things happening, right? People being locked in their homes, and then I'll show you something from High Impact Vlogs in a second. But they're seeing reality. It's starting to hit them in the face. Because patriots are smart, I think tons of patriots are smart, and they can only be fooled for so long. And I think the whole Q agenda knows that. They know they can buy time, but eventually people are going to snap out of it, especially when their families and their children are named, which, like, we're all in a lot of danger, but we need to stay calm and just prepare and help each other. Now's the time to get information out until we can, and see what happens this week. This is going to be a big time to determine our course of action. True, good people who want to have freedom in some kind of form, because it seems like our Constitution's gone. But this is going to be a major, major week to see, like, what the heck is going on here. And I have a really bad feeling. I don't know about any of you guys. It's like I don't have premonition where I have visions of the future or anything like that, but my spider sense is really going off, and it's matching everything. And then, I put my live stream out, and the next morning, this guy is an expert. He's an expert on the occult elite and the things that they do, like Mystery Babylon and Masons. He has a lot of information on it. He studied it for a long time. Let's listen to a little bit more of it, and we'll go into some more information.
Door, go into the families and take them out safely and with dignity and test them. They're not lying. They're telling you that. And it seems like everyone's like a week behind.
And I'll show you guys something on that in a second.
Because that just became a big story yesterday. World Health Organization did a live stream on the 30th. Telling you we're coming door to door. They're telling you everything they're going to do, and then they're sitting back and letting everybody digest it. A day goes by, Americans' attention span totally forgets about it, and it just keeps coming and coming. And now we're seeing troops with buses with black windows, school buses. That's not how military convoys roll. But go ahead.
Well, the only other part is kind of ominous, and it's more speculative, and I don't even know if I should share it with you, but I'll just briefly say that I know that what's coming is not going to be our own troops. No troop is going to be under that much mind control where they're going to invade Louisiana and do something.
Not at all.
What's coming is going to have to be some sort of technology.
Hey, I live in Louisiana.
And this is pure speculation. Pure speculation. But when I look at the Paradise stuff in California. I'm looking at something that's capable of burning only technology, something that maybe is utilizing the wiring in your house as some sort of amplifier antenna or something.
You're on it. You're on it. Me and Mike Decker have been talking because we've been talking for 2 weeks now. We're going to see technology we didn't even know about.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to add, as a targeted individual, and I have shouted it out for a long time. My attackers can use the electric wiring in my wall, my computer, my modem, and stuff like that. My phone, definitely, they can heat it up, and I can feel that non-ionizing radiation. Or they can just hit me within the home with external beams that are coming through the house, right? With extremely low frequencies to the body, electromagnetic fields and everything like that. I'm being hit in my home 24 hours a day, just like probably most of you guys watching this video right now. So I've got to add that in, right? There's a way, and then you got smart meters, right? You got smart meters in addition to all that. And then you've got the 5G being put up in neighborhoods, around neighborhoods and everything like that. But millimeter wave, supposedly, all 5G isn't millimeter wave, though. We need to know that. All 5G is not 60 gigahertz. A lot of 5G is 60 gigahertz millimeter wave, but some of the 5G towers being put up is not millimeter wave. So can that go through walls, right? So what he's saying is, like, he thinks that something's going to go on with that, right? And what I'm thinking is, like, okay, so maybe they don't kill everybody in their homes, but certain homes, and I'll show you in a second why this may happen, they start to give people symptoms inside of the homes, right, of COVID-19. They start to give them the symptoms by using their modem, by using the manipulation of the wiring in their wall with electromagnetic fields, right, directed energy, or just start hitting them with directed energy in their home, because I think some of the 5G towers are not exactly millimeter wave and can go through walls. We need to be researching all of this a whole lot. But then, let me show you something. We're going to come back to this, and we're going to watch a little bit more of it probably. I just want to get through all the crucial information at the beginning where I'm seeing these links. I'm seeing all these, this evidence, these red flags blaring that during Passover, I don't know, probably the weekend, that something is going to happen. Something big is going to happen, because it follows along with how the elite do their rituals. They have to tell us, right? They have to tell us. So the Surgeon General says, oh man, it's going to be the new Pearl Harbor. It's going to be the new 9/11. Donald Trump's been saying it. Yeah, a lot of people are going to die. A lot of people are going to die. And then from other places, right? From all these places, we're getting these warning signs, because that's supposed to clear up their karma or whatever. And also, James True says that, like, we pretty much agree to go into our homes. I think that's ludicrous that anybody has really agreed to go into their home, because they're saying if you go outside, you're going to kill somebody. Justify it because they're evil, satanic liars. They're evil, satanic murderers. So let's go to... my attackers are just wiping my mind. That's okay. That's okay. We'll take our time. I want to go to this. I mirrored this on my channel, and Wayne asked me a question. I kind of just want to read my response to him. This is pretty much how I feel about that interview with Richie and James True. And then I'm going to show you all the video from High Impact Blogs. So Wayne Moore said, watch this again. A lot makes sense. Would love to know your opinions, mate. So I said, Wayne, brother, when I saw this morning, it really just struck me as very true. I really think these people at the top ritualize everything, using us all as pawns. Saying that, I still hope whatever happens is not as bad as I think it will be. I'm praying that Passover will come and go with positive news about things getting better and the numbers declining. I really, really hope for this, but I want to show you something why that may be bad. It may be bad. Okay, this is kind of complicated because I want to give hope and I don't want to instill fear, but I'll just show you something. I really agree with what Richie says, and Richie during this interview says they wouldn't waste this, right? Look at all the stuff that they've set up. And me as a targeted individual with this frequency weapon grid, the 5G grid, smart meters, all the crap that they have in our homes right now, they got all this set up. They're making people sick with the electromagnetic fields of the earth and 5G towers and the frequency weapons grid. People, a large percentage of people, right, like I was talking about on the live stream, are going to get very suspicious of this kind of stuff, and they're going to start looking into it, right? So I feel like they think this is like kind of the final, oh, we can really, really hurt people and make them sick with these frequencies, and people won't find out about it. Like, they couldn't do it again. They do it now, a lot of the percentage of the public's going to find out how it was done, and they can't just do it over and over again, right? So I don't think they're going to, waste this opportunity of the clampdown of the New World Order. I just agree with Richie on that. I hope I'm wrong, right? I hope that it's just fudge numbers and everything goes fine. That would be cool with me. But I feel like we do need to get prepared if there's a chance. And this seems like more than a chance. It seems like way more than a chance, because they do these catalyzing events. It's a project from the New American Century. We're going to read a little bit about that. Catalyzing events like 9/11 to get the trauma that they want from the public, to get the not just the reaction from the public, but the public to demand to be enslaved. They want the public demanding to be enslaved. They want people demanding to be taken from their homes into a quarantine zone where they can recover from a non-existent virus, which we all have inside. We all have the genetic material for COVID-19. We all have it, and it's released. The exosomes are released from the cells. When your body is hit with toxins or some kind of catalyst, like electromagnetic radiation, right? So they've got all this stuff in place, and if they just pulled off of people, people will be a lot more ready to resist next time. I hope nothing super bad happens this Passover. I have a bad feeling, and the evidence doesn't look good. This guy's research seems to be very valid. It may sound like a lot of hoodoo to some people, but it's definitely how these people at the top think. God bless, brother. So that's kind of what I think about that interview. Obviously, I made a video, before it, talking about my concerns. But that's a great interview. That guy, he's not some con man. He's not some con man. And we're gonna go to his website in a second. I just don't want to be too long-winded in this because I want to get the information out so y'all are getting information just to feel more empowered about. I hope this makes people feel empowered. We're already we need to be looking at the other hand too, to understand what's coming, to understand what we need, the information we need to get out and spread, right? Because we can, while we have social media, because I don't think it's going to be for long. I think they're doing that. They're letting us have this stuff and not censoring it completely as a distraction, to keep us distracted, to keep us from, and they want to lock things down so then we're not able to stand up and resist in the ways that we need to. Can you even say resist on YouTube? I don't know. Can I even say the word say? Can I say any words? Is every word going to be censored? And it changes the way we think. Censorship of our words changes the way we think about things. You start not thinking the school in Connecticut. So let's watch this. Let's watch the whole thing. It's really important, and I don't think Brian will mind. Like on my live stream, it was London Real, which I kind of question them now. If they're like, I think they're more about views and money. David Icke was a huge interview, and they copyright all of their materials, so they don't strike me as like, we're trying to tell the truth to help people. They're a business, like a news organization that's trying to get the hits and the likes and all that. So I didn't know that. But what I do when I do share other people's information is like I can look at Brian at High Impact Vlogs, and I'm like, he wants to get his information out. He wants to help people. He has a channel, and like Richie from Boston won't mind either. Actually, I was in the chat during that interview, and I was like, man, I'm going to mirror this. I got to mirror this stuff. And I'm telling you guys, I've listened to it 4 times, and it scared me the first time. It really scared me, because it scared me not because of the information, but because of his urgency. And he wasn't trying to con anybody. He was telling people, hate me if you want to, blah, blah, just go with your gut right now. It's very urgent. And the material, the research really resonated with me, and it should resonate with you guys who are targeted, because this targeting has a lot of occultic, ritualistic stuff to it. Like, you have gang stalkers in your community and vehicular stalkers, and they're taking their evil, and they're trying to scapegoat it onto somebody, right? And then your attackers are acting as like there's the we'll maybe watch that. I don't have everything divided up into the clips that I want, because I just want to get this information out, and everybody just needs to listen to that interview. But we'll go through some stuff. The towers and the Masonic towers, the 2 towers of mercy and justice, like on 9/11, the 2 towers, mercy and justice. Now we have the 2 ships, right? I'm not sure what they're called, but the 2 ships. In between those, it's basically a signal from them that in between those 2 things, and we'll read some about that in between those 2 things there is going to be a sacrifice. Now, what does that mean for America? What does that mean for Americans in their home? What does that mean for Americans that are out on the street? What does that mean for us? So let's play this, and it adds a little bit more of like what's definitely coming down the pike, that might play in to what happens during Passover.
Seen this
Let
guy
me go
before,
full screen.
but this is the executive director of the World Health Organization's Health Emergency Program, Dr. Michael Ryan.
Dr. Michael Ryan.
Mr. Ryan does not want you to be secure in your persons, houses, papers, and effects. He doesn't want your home to be a place of security. He wants to send enforcers with guns to drag your loved ones out of your home because you might be infected with the cerveza bug. Listen to what he says. Health is in your home, and we, the health experts, the global health experts, want to make sure that you're not in your home and that you can't stay in your home.
Transmission has been taken off the streets and pushed back into family units.
So they're saying that this is spreading within households. That's worry, right? Everybody's staying home. And I pause right there. Let's listen to it again. This is insane. This is insane. They're saying there's a danger that everybody's gone in self-quarantine, and now the danger is that it's going to spread amongst the families, so they have to come to the house and test everybody and take people, even if they aren't tested positive. Even if they aren't tested positive, they got to take them from the home and then test them again and make sure. And does that mean they're going to put something in them and actually say that they have the disease? Does this mean they're rounding up dissidents? Like, and I'm not trying to be inflammatory, right? Screw that. We're in the crap, and we need to know about this stuff, because they're saying they're gonna start coming door to door, and if somebody doesn't even test positive, they can still take them away for suspicion of having COVID-19 on a thing that's created, like exosomes being released and people getting a little bit feverish. Some people dying of other things, right? This is a huge, dangerous lie. It keeps getting more and more nightmares, So like people, some of you guys may be like, Kyle, it's nuts to believe some big event or something really bad is going to happen during Passover. You're just being a fearmonger. Like, are you guys looking at what's going on? Probably a lot of you are just like, yeah, we expect, because we're targeted individuals, we expect the worst from our leaders. They are complete Satanists. They feed off of the public. Every country's leaders feed off of us, and they're liars. And Trump ain't going to save us. Trump may be doing a couple of little good things as a Trojan horse in there to keep the patriots in their little sleepy time. And if you're a patriot here and you're insulted what I'm saying about Q and Trump, you need to wake up. We are losing our freedoms. We could lose our lives. Like, targeted individuals have been tortured for years and years. They've already been raping and torturing people in their homes many, many years before this. They are completely capable. And there ain't going to be some kind of pump fake by Trump to fix it all. Let's watch it again. This is insane. I freaked out when I saw this morning. I watched it after that other interview with Richie and James True didn't freak me out as much as this. I saw this and I started thinking, I'm a targeted individual. Do they want to get rid of me? Are they going to just say that I have COVID-19? I said, I need to get something by the door. I need to get ready. And then I kind of calmed down, right? I kind of calmed down. I was like, okay, this is happening. Maybe it's just in certain places or whatever. But this is you don't even have to test positive. You're under suspicion of having it. I mean, this is way worse than Nazi Germany, Mao Zedong's China. This is way worse than I would have ever, 1984 or anything like that. We live in a horror. We live in a horror. We got to be extra strong, extra spiritually strong. I'm just trying to emphasize right now, I'm not trying to be oh my God, blah, because we're going to have to fight. Good people are going to have to fight. We're going to have to figure out how to fight because we've waited so long, right? It's so insane that we've waited so long and people kept just saying, no, 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 because they got us comfortable and fat and everything like that. Targeted individuals, we've been tortured, just scrambling for our lives for many, many years and trying to tell people we're mentally ill, And so, I don't know. We gotta, do we gotta fight now? We should have been fighting 20 years ago. We should have been fighting a long time ago, so I guess we just do the best we can. We do the best we can and we get with God. That's my hope. But, we should have been fighting way before this. We knew how corrupt our leaders were. But this, they're locking this stuff down. And it is. Let's watch this whole thing. Brian's channel is very important. If you aren't subscribed to High Impact Vlogs, please go and subscribe. Like his videos, get him up there, to get him out there, because he's working hard and he cares about people's freedoms. If we could just push him back just a little bit to try and keep some of our freedoms, I think we'll be lucky. I'm not very hopeful in man's world, and I know a lot of Christians, you think this is just the end times, and I'm kind of starting to agree. I don't think the world's going to explode or anything, but it's like the end of freedom of man, which means it's the end of humanity to me. But I do have hope. I do have hope in God. In the name of Jesus Christ, God is our protector. He has us in the palm of his hand, so I have hope in that. And things can turn out in ways where, we've got to be good people, enjoy life as much as we can, and help people. Let's watch this. Just right now, this is brutally insane.
This is
brutally
executive
insane.
director of the World Health Organization's Health Emergency Program, Dr. Michael Ryan. And Mr. Ryan does not want you to be secure in your persons, houses, papers, and effects. He doesn't want your home to be a place of security. He wants to send enforcers with guns to drag your loved ones out of your home because you might be infected with the cerveza bug. What he says.
Even if it's so, and I'm sorry, I'll keep playing it. I know that a lot of you guys probably just want to watch it, but even if this wasn't a complete lie about how the virus does not spread like they're saying it is and everything, even if it was a real virus, it's still so insane that they're like, okay, everybody's quarantined in their homes. Now we're going to have a mass pandemic inside of the homes. Everybody's split up. If a family doesn't have it, they're not going to get it. And the families that do have it are going to be blocked off from everybody because they're going to be quarantined. The most insane idea, even if they were telling the truth about how the virus spreads. Even if they were telling the truth about how the virus spreads, it would still be bunk. It would still be the most insane thing ever. And I think any kind of doctor or virologist, probably Andy Kaufman, the doctor that Richie from Boston had on, he's probably, if he had hair, he'd be ripping it out. I wonder, I'm going to go to his channel and see what he thinks.
In most parts of the world, due to lockdown, most of the transmission that's actually happening in many countries now is happening in the household, at family level.
So the threat The global threat
It's
to human
insane.
safety and security and public health is in your home. And we, the health experts, the global health experts, want to make sure that you're not in your home and that you can't stay in your home, and we're going to force you out.
In some senses, transmission has been taken off the streets and pushed back into family units.
What's he saying? The death, the deadly virus, the cerveza bug that's roaming the streets killing everybody could be in your house. And we need to find out. We need to drop the barrier of the Fourth Amendment. You have no protections.
This is
If it's
coming
in there,
down, y'all.
we'll find it and we'll get it out. And we don't care about your freedoms.
Now we need to go and look in families to find those people who may be sick and remove them and isolate them in a safe and dignified manner.
And you might be thinking, well, this is just an isolated case. This is just a psychopath that the world...
Now add this in, guys. Add this in. As a targeted individual, I can be attacked in my home using my modem, smart meter, computer, electric wiring in the wall, directing those electromagnetic fields. And think about that. Think about a family that doesn't have the virus, that's completely healthy, but they start experiencing symptoms because they're hit with certain gigahertz frequencies inside of their home, and maybe other things in the home, or certain 5G that's not millimeter wave that I don't know about, right? And then add that to what the hell is going to happen during Passover, because they want to take people. They want to take people, and they'll talk about it more. But add in that factor, right? You know, because I don't think Brian's thinking about that. He's thinking of a ton of other angles that I'm not even thinking of. But that's an important angle, right? It's a nightmare.
World Health Organization. He has no jurisdiction over us, and this thought isn't pervasive. This isn't happening in America. Listen to what Rachel Madcow has to say. This guy right here is the science and health reporter for the New York Times. Listen to his remedy for this problem, the cerveza bug problem.
You're not sure that America will extreme forms of isolation and intrusive monitoring.
In other words, America's not going to comply, so we need to force this along a little bit, don't we, says Rachel Madcow.
This is just the beginning. This is just an attempt to free. Then the real work begins. You've got to get people who are infected out of their homes so that they...
This is just the beginning. This is just getting everything into place.
You've got to get people who are infected out of their homes. Just what Michael Ryan said. We don't want you in your home. We want to take you out with and put you with a whole bunch of other people, because that's going to make the situation better, right?
They don't infect their family members. Even if they have mild cases, even if they have almost no symptoms, they're going to have to go someplace where they can get over it together.
Gonna have to get over it
like FEMA camp, like some kind of what would we call it, like some kind of concentration camp or something like that. And I'm not saying it'd be like a concentration camp where they're killing people, but it would be like I'm trying to think of the word, you know, like a FEMA camp, but maybe they say it later, but taking people so they can go and heal from the virus together when they probably didn't even have it in their home, and they don't even have to be tested positive, because they need to test them again if they have suspicion that they might have it, so they can just decide to take anybody out of their home. Like, where is this? Like, I don't know if this is just in one city or if it's just rolling out to everybody, but usually when you see it in a couple of places, you hear it from the guy in the World Health Organization. That means it's being rolled out everywhere. This is awful. This is worse than awful.
Together. What about social distancing, bud? Even if you have mild symptoms, even if you're asymptomatic, if you test positive, and how are they going to find out if you test positive? Oh, that's right. James Bullard, the president for the St. Louis Federal Reserve, said, we're going to test everybody every single day. If you test positive, you can't go to work that day. If you test positive, you can't go to the store that day. If you don't show your certificate, this is how bad it's become, guys. This is where they want this to go.
We need to test literally millions of people, because the first time you get a negative test means nothing.
A negative test yields no information.
What's he saying? Oh, you took the test and you tested negative? That's not good enough. We're going to have you test in a couple more days because we're going to make sure you get positive because we want to make sure we lay our hands
And think
on
about that,
we want to
guys.
make sure we take enforcers.
If the tests are contaminated with something that would make people release exosomes, so they're doing it that way and by electromagnetic frequencies also, then they've got a lot of ways to whoever they want to show up with the virus, they can make them show up with the virus. And then they can take them out of their homes to some kind of gulag or something like that, like a FEMA, a quarantine zone or whatever. This is insane. Like, we have got to start resisting. We've got to find ways. We've got to start resisting and doing whatever we can, putting out information. Now's the time, guys. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Because we've all got to speak out. We're going to have to start doing more than that. We're going to have to start doing a lot more than that. Like, we're going to see this week what happens, but this is like the end of human freedom. This is the end of human freedom, and then we're going to have that vaccine crap with ID 2020, and they're going to be able to like literally bidirectional stream, hook up to anybody's mind, put everybody in a neuro society. I mean, this will be what targeted individuals have talked about for a long time. Everybody just minds being targeted.
They go to your door and bring you out against your will and without your consent. We don't care what you have to say. Eventually, you'll test positive. Think about this. James Bullard, the St. Louis Federal Reserve president, says that he wants people tested not just once. He wants them every single day. But I was talking with somebody yesterday. I can't remember who it was, but they're saying, but think about what they're saying. They'll set it up for test you every single day, and there will be an uprising every single day. I'm not going to be tested every single day, and then they'll back off on that. They'll go, okay, you just need to be just tested once a year, and everybody will go, okay, well that's better than once a day. That's better than testing every single day of my life. Once a year, I can handle that. You don't want to be tested by government functionaries. You don't want to be put into a medical system. You don't want whatever it is they're going to shove up your nose, even if it's a home testing kit. You don't know what's on that swab that they're going to put in the back of your nose or your throat. You don't know if they're, getting a DNA culture so that they can, clone you or whatever they want to do. You don't know. You don't want to trust government and pharmaceutical functionaries with your life.
Sometimes it takes 3 or 4 days, even after you have symptoms, for a test to turn up positive. A lot more to do even after we go into a lockdown.
What we would do with people who had fevers. What you've described as these sort of temporary hospitals where people who have mild or moderate illness
temporary hospitals, temporary, what are they, internment camps. I'm sorry, I meant just medical facilities. Camps.
Have to leave their families. People who have fevers and get diagnosed as even just mild cases need to be isolated outside of their home.
Is it sick?
Of course, because she's a corporate media teleprompter reader, she's not going to say, but dude, here, let's think about the ramifications of this. What about the right to be secure in your person's houses, papers, and effects? What about individual rights? And you know what the answer is. Oh, individual rights are out the window because we got to keep people safe. We got to make sure people don't die. We got to make sure there aren't infectious people walking around and jeopardizing the lives of the general population.
Safe to walk into a grocery store while openly carrying.
Have you ever heard about having like flu-like symptoms? Like when you were younger, you had the flu. Do you imagine if you had to be taken away from your family? And this is not even happening like a natural flu. It's seasonal. I mean, this is very, very artificial, and they can kind of like make anybody look like they have it, right? Even if they don't have symptoms, you could be asymptomatic, but you could be a carrier for it, right? So we've got this whole thing now where, oh no, you tested because we all have we all have CV19 in us, genetic material. We have all have those exosomes that could release, with certain catalysts, so they can just kind of choose who they want to have it, and then maybe bring them somewhere, infect them with something worse, and they die. This is a nightmare. This is a nightmare. The only way we're going to get through any of this is with God.
A fever. You're endangering the other people in the store. Now we're going to put you in isolation. We're going to, you're for your own protection. Not everybody's case is mild.
This is Nazi-style Gestapo stuff. It's for your own protection. You don't want to harm somebody's grandmother while you're walking around in the grocery store picking out, eggs and milk, and you got a fever, do you? We have turned the corner, guys. We can't submit to this tyranny. They want to make something like this law, to where it's against the law for you to go into a store unless you wear a mask, or unless you have your vaccine certificate, or unless you can prove that you got tested that day and you test positive or negative. That's what they want, guys. Every bit of your freedoms they want to completely chuck out the window.
So that's horrifying. Let's listen to a little bit more of this, and then we're going to go to James True's page. But that's taking that piece of information that they want to start taking anybody who is even asymptomatic out of their family's homes to be put into a place where they can heal up, and then on Passover they could start amping up things inside of people's homes, or using the frequency weapons grid, start giving people symptoms when they didn't even have anything. They were safe in their home, and they can kind of just pick and choose, right? And they've been targeting and surveilling everybody for a long time, right? So it's very scary to me as a targeted individual. Like, am I going to have somebody come into my door because my neighbors who gang stalk me report me and say, oh, he looked a little bit sick or something like that. So now the CV virus becomes this thing where you can just lie about somebody, and I've been lied about as a targeted individual, and get them maybe taken away and maybe infected with something even worse. Forced vaccinations. This is the nightmare. Like, this is the nightmare that we're in. Let's listen to what he says about I think he talks about what we can do. We'll listen to a little bit more of this.
This is going to be a complete, you better know where you stand now, because when the time comes, I don't even think you're going to be able to think. It's going to be so crazy. Go ahead, James. Sorry.
Well, as long as everyone hears me say this is all speculation now. Everything else I've told you is just fact, by the way. I'm just freaking telling you facts. But what I'm saying right now is speculation.
So he's talking about like the wiring in people's homes, maybe having an electric field around it, and then causing people to release exosomes. We know the computer releases non-ionizing microwave radiation, your phone releases non-ionizing microwave radiation, your modem, and then smart meters, and then they can actually shoot stuff into your house, create magnetic fields remotely too. And I think a lot of the 5G is not exactly millimeter waves where it can actually pass through walls. Some of it, the millimeter waves can't. I'm not even sure about that, because they're saying millimeter waves can't go through walls. I don't even know if I believe that. I guess I need to do more research on it, but I'm not believing anything right now, But that added to, Passover coming up, and we're getting all these red flags that this is gonna be the peak, right, of deaths, and then then they're preparing, pulling people out of their homes, even if they're asymptomatic, right? And they test it once and it was negative, they got to try again, and that sets it up for contamination of those tests. So probably a couple of redundant systems, right? Remember that word, redundant systems, because it's not going to be just one way people can start releasing those exosomes. There's probably going to be a couple of different ways they can get people to release. They can be a catalyst for that to happen in people if they want them to get that positive test.
If you're picturing what happened in Paradise, imagine that volume being turned down to where it doesn't actually set your house on fire. Instead, it just stops your hemoglobin from being absorbed.
Right.
So a high altitude sickness just by being in your home. Add that to what I told you, that you're not allowed to leave your terrain, to see if that's the problem. And I think that you have a way of cornering a herd and basically euthanizing a certain percentage of them, depending on however you want to do that. Because of that, I'm looking a lot at, once sundown hits, maybe not being in my house for 7 days. This is actually a blessing for me, because I love to camp, and I want to finish the book, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. To me,
he's saying it might not be a good idea to even stay home. I don't know. I mean, I think I'm gonna have to stay in, because I think I'll get arrested. Like, if I go, I'm not sure. But he did say during Seder There is a thing of drinking 4 glasses of wine. There's something in the fermentation of the wine that might mess, and we know that wine messes with Morgellons, right? So I think I might actually drink a bottle of wine on Easter, like on Easter, just in case. The one thing though, this is a good thing for targeted individuals, for people who've been experimented a long time with these frequencies, with neuroweapons, external hits and everything. Your body's used to this stuff. So you're not going to release exosomes the same way. You've already probably done that over a long period of time, right? So we do have a little bit of, what I don't know what you call it, but a little bit of protection from that, I would think. Maybe some of us might still release exosomes if we were hit with maybe different, like millimeter wave, and we hadn't been hit with millimeter wave before. But that's a factor in there too. At least we've been hit with this stuff a long time. So if they do something like amp up everything in every home or something like that, which I don't know, guys. I don't know, but I'm just showing the things that I'm seeing and going, and then knowing that they have and I'll read this about the 2 ships, right? Which are they're kind of making the 2 towers. And they're kind of setting up for this ritual. We'll read a little bit about that.
It's almost like by staying in your house, you're becoming the innocent lamb, because people are telling you what's happening, but we're still going to follow orders and listen to quarantine and stay in our house. It's almost like a rapture is being handed out, where it's, do you accept the rapture, yes or no? And if you don't answer, the answer is yes, you do. And
silence equals
all
consent.
that speculation. I'm just telling you
I
guys.
think to these people, silence equals consent.
With what might be happening over the next
like
7,
these evil
8,
people at
9
the top.
All right, let's wrap up this list. We're on 14. Oh, did you do 13?
I think we pretty much covered it. I purposely list 19 times, and the 19th solution is what you can actually do about it. And I just really stress people to pull your consent from government and put it in yourself and in the land, especially the land. I think that the land has some energy for you right now, and it's called grounding. You put your feet in the soil, you feel it. It's the opposite of lies. I really think that you will find a lot of strength from there. And the most important thing
I gotta
you
use
do
the bathroom real
is turn
quick.
yourself
Like
from a lion into a lamb.
So I'm gonna keep this
Make it a
playing and
murder,
try
not a
and
sacrifice.
keep the video going.
Right.
I think that's really the most important thing we can do right now.
So, it's funny you say that, because Mike Decker is a rock climber and a chemtrail videographer, we'll call him. But we've also been praying barefoot, etc. Anytime the sun's out, get outside and get that while you can. It's astonishing to me that this entire ruse, everybody could be sick, so go sit inside your house where there's no fresh air and just watch mainstream. I've been making videos for years explaining that the television is a weapon, and we're seeing it now. When this whole thing broke out, they said, the Surgeon General said wearing a mask won't help, so everybody just relax, because this can be transmitted through the eyes. It can. People are watching this, and it's manifesting. It's phenomenal. It's gone on. Friday the 13th, to me, was D-Day. Trump at 3:33 declared a national emergency over something that hadn't even done anything yet. And then Bill Gates stepped down right afterwards. Yeah. It was on. We're at April 8th right now, and this continues. And meanwhile, everything still everyone's sitting, we're being invaded, literally, and we're the only country that the United States has ever invaded that actually sat in their house and waited. The other countries are like, wow, it's amazing, dude. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And listen to this. I'm watching the comments.
But I believe that it's not fair. It's not fair because, and it's not like they can't karmically cleanse themselves and say that we just accepted this, because they're telling people if they go out, and a lot of people think that the virus is going to spread like that, like is actually going to spread like I've always thought a virus spreads. So they don't want to hurt anybody. They want to obey the rules so they're not killing other people. And they think it's very deadly. So being tricked into doing something I don't see it as like, oh, well, people just laid down and died. They just agreed to stay in their homes and be slaughtered. They don't know. They don't have the right information. So I don't think that can karmically cleanse anybody in any kind of ritual. I think that's cuckoo. I think that's just cuckoo and it's psychotic genocide. If they say, oh, well, they've consented and that clears our karma, right? I don't think that has any kind, it doesn't balance it in any way. And you shouldn't kill people anyway. You just shouldn't kill people on a mass scale anyway, which I hope, I hope doesn't happen. I just hope that it's, something as serious as I think that it doesn't happen over Passover.
Freaking out saying that James is the Antichrist or a magician. He's trying to explain to you under duress, because this is stressful, trying to tell people stuff and they still can't hear it or they're making excuses. He's trying to tell you how these guys think. So understand that. Because when you said that was Jack Keenan Boaz it made perfect sense. It made perfect sense because I was thinking, are those boats full of UN troops? Like, what could it possibly be? It was way worse, and that wasn't a pandemic.
Hold on 1 second, guys. Yeah, my attackers are just like freezing everything up, and they're messing up the program. I work with
I gave you the most sophisticated jet fighter in the world, man, and all these black magicians.
They're letting us do this right now.
And the 19th solution is what you can actually do about it. And I just really stress people to
trying to tell people stuff and they still can't hear it or they're making excuses. He's trying to tell you how these guys think.
Okay, now my attackers are really freezing up my
because
food.
When you said that was Jack Keenan.
So let's go to this real quick, guys. I want to show you this, and it's not a video, so they shouldn't be able to freeze it up too much. So we're going to talk a little bit about the project for a new American century. This is the New Statesman. So because the Surgeon General of the United States is saying this might be our new Pearl Harbor, the new 9/11. So John Pilger reveals the American plan, a new Pearl Harbor. 2 years ago, a project set up. So what the Surgeon General said was actually very, very, very crucial, and it probably was not a mistake. It probably was not a mistake. 2 years ago, a project set up by the men who now surround George W. Bush said what America needed was a catastrophic and catalyzing event. And we know what that was. And that was 9/11 in our country. The threat posed by U.S. terrorism to the security of nations and individuals was outlined in prophetic detail in a document written more than 2 years ago and disclosed only recently. What was needed for America to dominate much of humanity and the world's resources, it said, was some catastrophic and catalyzing event, like a new Pearl Harbor. The attacks of 11 September 2001 provided the new Pearl Harbor, described as the opportunity of ages. And I feel like on the live stream I said this would be an opportunity for the good people. We need to use it as an opportunity. That was a bad word. That was just a dumb word to use. I need to think of a better word, but we've still got to use this to do good, to evolve, to make good stronger, to help people, to help people find out about these weapons. I mean, that we've got to do what we can with the situation that we're in, right? But I think saying it's an opportunity is a little bit icky. It's icky. So the extremists who have since exploited 11 September come from my attackers are getting just like, the guy's like, we gotta get him. He's getting all angry and stuff like that. He's getting all worked up, and he's like freezing my computer, and then sounds like it's like getting really hot right here. Oh well, okay, let me just ignore that. Okay, the extremists who have since exploited 11 September come from the era of Ronald Reagan, when far-right groups and think tanks were established to avenge the American defeat in Vietnam. In the 1990s, there was an added agenda to justify the denial of a peace dividend following the Cold War. The Project for a New American Century was formed, along with the American Enterprise Institute, the Hudson Institute, and others that have since merged that have since merged the ambitions of the Reagan administration with those of the current Bush regime. One of George W. Bush's thinkers is Richard Pearl. I interviewed Pearl when he was advising Reagan, and when he spoke about total war, I mistakenly dismissed him as mad. He recently used the term again in describing America's war on terror. No stages, he said. This is total war. We are fighting a variety of enemies. There are lots of them out there. All this talk about first we are going to do Afghanistan, then we will do Iraq. This is entirely the wrong way to go about it. If we just let our vision of the world go forth and we embrace it entirely and we don't try to piece together clever diplomacy, but we just wage a total war, our children will sing great songs about us for years now. So these people are insane. Like, we know that, right? Pearl is one of the founders of the Project for a New American Century. They're like the leaders of the Project for the New American Century are definitely like in these fraternal organizations. They definitely are part of Mystery Babylon, either neocons, Zionists, Masons. They're part of that Mystery Babylon thing. Skull and Bones. They're definitely part of the death cult. The PNAC. Other founders included Dick Cheney, now Vice President, Donald Rumsfeld, Defense Secretary, Paul Wolfowitz, Deputy Defense Secretary, Lewis Libby, Cheney's Chief of Staff, William J. Bennett, Reagan's Education Secretary, and Zalmay Khalilzad, Bush's ambassador to Afghanistan. These are the modern chartists of American terrorism. Terrorism against the people. Not fighting terrorism, right? Because look at the road it led us down. Look at the road from 9/11 to here. Look at it. To where they are waging war against the people, and that was their plan all along, to wage asymmetrical warfare against the people. And look how the people cried out for that war in Afghanistan to go get Osama bin Laden after they took those towers down. And people, if people ever ask you again, well, why would they kill 3,000 people? I mean, what would be the point of doing that on purpose? Look at where we are now. It got this ball rolling, right? And it was rolling before then, but that was a push, right? Just like now is a push. Do you understand? Do you understand? Now is a push, and it's coming this week. I hope it's not, guys. I hope I'm wrong. Like, I hope that I'm wrong, but I feel like this is like a, maybe they'll wait till 2021, right? Because we got 2001 when it happened. Did something happen in 2011? That's when I started being overtly targeted individually. So probably a lot of targeted individuals are pulled in into 2011. No, it probably they're not going to wait till 2021 to do another large event. They've got this going now. They've got everybody scared. We're seeing the signs and everything like that. So I think we've got to get prepared, For what? I don't know. I'm seeing some pieces here that may happen, but we are going to have to be prepared and see. I don't know how we'd warn people. I could tell my parents, like, I think something bad's going to happen over Passover. My dad would just be like, oh, little crazy retard. Like he said to me, and he loves me. Like, I love my dad, but he's cut off from any kind of, he's Fox News, he's cut off from any kind of real reality. He's literally, like, he trusts the government and he trusts the mainstream media. So he's, like, lost. He's lost in the material world, right? But his soul is good and stuff like that, and that's how we relate. But it's very sad. Let's read this next paragraph, and then I want to show you guys something shocking. Like, shocking. Very shocking. I guess that's a bad word to use. Like, I'm not trying to do puns or anything like that. Because talking about how somebody in their home can be affected by electromagnetic fields, even if they're not directly targeted like us. We've got to start waking people up. One thing we can do right now, like after you see this video, if you're staying up, it's like 3 o'clock, so people will probably be sleeping. But if you when you see this video, what you can do, go to some of those Q videos like X22 Report and just look at Jordan Sather and just tell people, look, say, wake up, we're losing our freedoms. Please wake up. Please wake up. You guys are good patriots and you're strong. Please wake up. We need help. We need to resist. That's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to go in there so we can get some other people, kind of slap them in the face and wake them up, because we've all got to start resisting, you know. So that's one little thing that I can think of. Then get some information out, and then we're going to have to see what happens this week. But this is serious, y'all. This is for real, y'all. This is for real. Like that video with the guy where he's talking about the fake, you know, people who had probably died but not of COVID-19. This is for real, y'all. This is for real, y'all. Okay, so the PNAC's seminal report, Rebuilding America's Defenses, Strategy, Forces, and Resources for a New Century, was a blueprint of American aims in all but name. 2 years ago, this has happened. It said the United States should develop bunker-buster nuclear weapons and make Star Wars, so satellite system up there, a national priority. This is happening. It is said that in the event of Bush taking power, Iraq should be a target, and so it is. As for Iraq's alleged weapons of mass destruction, kind of like COVID-19 doesn't exist, these were dismissed in so many words as a convenient excuse, which it is. While the unresolved conflict with Iraq provides the immediate justification, it says, the need for a substantial American force presence in the Gulf transcends the issue of the regime of Saddam Hussein. So let me show you guys this real quick. And I'll put that article in the description. It's very important to know like how this started, right? So we can see red flags, right? So we know what they did during 9/11 and you know, came from the Project for the New American Century, the Patriot Act, and everything like that. We've seen what happened, and now we see a push, right? A very just a worse push for a new world order, and everybody's locked inside of their homes. And then they're doing this, you know, this pandemic, and then it's like, well, it's an event, right? They're getting everybody scared. Everybody thinks they can get the virus, but they need a push, right? They need something catalyzing to lock it in, right? That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm thinking. Hopefully it doesn't come during Passover, but I feel like it's going to come. And this is the, you know, these two holy weeks, you know, are the prime time for people the would-be rulers, the Satanists, the just Satanist evil people. It's when they would do it. It's like their most holy time, and the whole metaphor of Passover, they're thrilled by stuff like that. So Project for the New American Century, the Project for a New American Century, PNAC, was a neoconservative think tank. So the neocons, right? And I think that the neocons are like the kind of the white magic, and you got the liberal Satanists. They're like black magic. So Trump's like a white magic. Alex Jones would be like a white tile, white magic, right? They do a lot of good stuff, but they're working for the top of the pyramid, right? So you see these people that you might like, and they're doing some good things, but it all funnels up. It's like that. It's like Republicans and Democrats, right? Or it'd be Democrats and Republicans. You got black versus white, black tile versus white tile. So the public, you know, is confused, but it's all working for the capstone. So think tank based in Washington, D.C. that focus on United States foreign policy. It was established as a non-profit educational organization in 1997 and founded by William Kristol and Robert Kagan. PNAC's stated goal was to promote American global leadership. The organization stated that American leadership is good both for America and for the world, and sought to build support for a Reaganite policy of military strength and moral clarity. Moral clarity. It's just like in 1991 when Bush said, not the law of the jungle, and not the law of the jungle, but it's like just a satanic, no one has freedom. It's way worse than the law of the jungle. These things that they say, like such double speak. Whose moral clarity? Definitely not Christians' moral clarity, definitely not a good human being's moral clarity, but a Satanist moral clarity? Yeah, Satanist moral clarity. Okay, so of the 25 people who signed PNAC's founding statement of principles, 10 were went on to serve the administration of U.S. President George W. Bush, including Dick Cheney, Satan's right-hand man, Donald Rumsfeld, and Paul Wolfowitz. Observers such as Irwin Stelzer and Dave Grondin have suggested that the PNAC played a key role in shaping the foreign policy of the Bush administration, particularly in building support for the Iraq War. Academics such as Inderjeet Parmar, Philip Hammond, and Donald E. Abelson have said PNAC's influence on the George W. Bush administration has been exaggerated. And they would be a liar. The project for the New American Century ceased to function in 2006. It was replaced by a new think tank called the Foreign Policy Initiative, co-founded by Crystal and Kagan in 2009. The Foreign Policy Initiative was dissolved in 2017. So what is it now? I don't know. I don't know what it is now. If somebody can put that in the comments. But you know, I was going to say that. I should have found. I haven't read this, but I was going to say that it's like the PNAC started, but then it turns into all these different agencies, right? That do different functions. Where it started out as one kind of group in 1996, and then along the way it dissolves into more agencies, right? Kind of like, well, I don't know if this would be a good example, but like the CIA used to be one agency branch, or one agency, but now it's like all these different task force and business alliances, and all these different things, right? So this is important right here. Let me see if, where's that part? No, okay, this is what I want to show y'all right here. Let's not look at the origins. Let's look at statement and principles, because this is like, this is like, I was astounded to see this. So PNAC's first public act was to release a statement of principles on June 3rd, 1997. The statement had 25 signers, including project members and outside supporters. See signatories to Statement of Principles. It described the United States as the world's preeminent power and said that the nation faced a challenge to shape a new century favorable to American principles and interests. In order to achieve this goal, the statement signers called for significant increases in defense spending and for the promotion of political and economic freedom abroad. It said the United States should strengthen ties with its democratic allies, challenge regimes hostile to our interests and values, and preserve and extend an international order friendly to our security, our prosperity, and our principles, calling for a Reaganite policy of military strength and moral clarity. It concluded that PNAC's principles were necessary if the United States is to build on the successes of this past century and to ensure our security and our greatness in the next. In September 2000, PNAC released Rebuilding America's Defenses, a report that promotes the belief that America should seek to preserve and extend its position of global leadership by maintaining the preeminence of U.S. military forces. The report also states advanced forms of biological warfare that can target specific genotypes may transform biological warfare from the realm of terror to a politically useful tool. Right? And we see how the CV virus is being used as not just a politically useful tool, but a global dominating useful tool. Right? So I wanted to show PNAC, and I know PNAC didn't work globally, but right now in America we have Passover coming up, and it seems like America is the target for a giant ritual. And so it really has all these red flags of the things that PNAC was thinking of when 9/11 happened. When 9/11 just happened to happen. So so I just kind of wanted to show you guys those links right there. I don't think there's anything other than that was kind of just eye-opening about biological warfare being a politically useful tool. So let's see what else I had. I wanted to show a couple of things. Let's watch this real quick. We'll watch a little bit of it just so you can understand kind of. Actually, I don't want to show that. I don't want to show the PNAC thing. Let's go back here. Let's listen to Richie and James True talk a little bit more if my computer will work.
That's because I was thinking, are those boats full of UN troops? Like, what could it possibly be? But I didn't want to say anything because I can't verify it. You know what I'm saying? But Jacqueline and Boaz, and then look at everything under that perspective. It makes perfect sense. And my eyes look reptilian, apparently, James. Or maybe
So let's
yours
look at that.
did just wake up. So shut up, everyone.
Yeah,
Let's look at that
I
angle
get
right there.
People are attacking me like crazy right now, and I just want to tell you guys, attack me. Seriously, I need you to trust your gut.
It's kind of interesting how he says for people to attack him because he wants people to go with their gut right now, to go with your gut instincts, because he says we're like giving away, we're like making ourselves into automatons and just being driven around. He has this one awesome quote. I don't know if I'll be able to find it in this video, but he's like you're being driven around in a white van with Uncle Sam shooting people with a shotgun in the face, and somebody's like holding you back saying, hey, he knows what's best for you. Says it a lot funnier. So let's go to his webpage right here. So this is James True's. I should have gotten to this earlier. My attackers are just hitting me so hard. The V2K is going nuts. Okay, so this is James True's webpage, and I'll definitely put this in the description. So the 19th Passover. Here's what we know. Number one, and he goes through this in the interview with Richie from Boston. And this is very interesting. You know, Donald Trump really does have, it's like, you'd think he's so rich. And we'll read about that. Hold on, we'll read about that. Here's what we know. A bunch of empty tents are waiting for bodies. Number two, the Hal Turner radio show claims that at least 11 busloads of U.S. troops, some of them carrying M16 rifles, have arrived for deployment at a large train station in Brunswick, Maryland. Number three, no one is allowed to leave their home, thereby making it easy to determine where most people are. Number four, no one is asking if COVID-19 could be environmental. In fact, YouTube is actively censoring anyone trying to ask if it's G to the fifth, right? Which that I think it just plays an obvious factor in it. The military is deployed domestically, and they've been told they're here to take people off trains. 5G was announced and deployed as crucial for COVID-19 recovery and national security. 7, the track record of Washington, D.C. 8, there's no gold standard of COVID-19 testing. CV19 is inside of everybody. It's genetic material inside of everybody. We can release those exosomes. So they can get a positive out of anybody they want to. MSM says, even a negative test means nothing. Even a negative test means nothing. Millions must be tested. We have to take these people out of their homes, even if they have almost no symptoms. This is just the beginning. Can you, just insanity. That's the last red flag, everyone. Like, if you do think Donald Trump's going to save us, that's saying we got to take people out of their homes, even if they have no symptoms, if they do have light symptoms, but we just need to take them and bring them somewhere. That's the last red flag, everybody. That's it right there. That's the last stop. All of these things are red flags. So, let's see. Number 10, the Passover ritual starts tomorrow. So that would be tonight, right? Is it Wednesday right now? It's Wednesday, huh? Just want to make sure I'm not completely off, because I'm not. It's Thursday. Oh, it's 3/21. So last night. Passover started like 6 p.m. Some people started today. Some people started yesterday, and some people started today. Number 10, the Passover ritual starts tomorrow. The Surgeon General said this would be our 9/11 in Pearl Harbor moment. 11, the two towers. Okay, this is the important part. 11, the two towers of the ritual are the two ships on each coast. We are now between the USNS Mercy and the USNS Comfort, so TAH-19 and TAH-20. So the two towers of the ritual are the two ships on each coast, which in Los Angeles and New York, right? So when they do the two pillars, that means that whatever's in between them is going to be where the sacrifice is going to take place. And please watch that whole. We'll watch a little bit more of it at the beginning. I'll see if I can find an important part, but I want to read a little bit more of this. So these are the Masonic pillars of Boaz and Jachin. Right, I got 2 pillars on my V2K. I got the woman of mercy and the man that is meting out justice. Or, he's a killer, he's a Satanist, but he acts like he's meting out justice. They're freaking out over this. V2, he's like, I'm about to. He's freaking. Anytime I talk about anything Masonic, anytime that I talk about anything with rituals or Masons, he flips. Like, they're definitely Masons. These guys are like my attackers, the people on the hive mind team are definitely Masons. Definitely, they flip out. If I listen to Bill Cooper, they flip out. They get so angry because it's like they can't. It's their secrets, right? And they feel this weird death cult mind control that they have to protect their secrets. It's really weird. I look this way because my V2K sounds like it's coming from this way, but it's really just a stream of energy, and it's going down to my inner ear, and they can make it directional. I'll stop talking about that. This information is too important. I know that maybe non-targeted individuals are like, whoa, what's he talking about there? Hopefully some non-targeted individuals do watch my channel. And you're very welcome to my channel if you're not. Okay, so these are the Masonic pillars of Boaz and Jachin. The USNS Mercy is in Los Angeles. The USNS Comfort is in New York City. Both are aligned as Masonic towers. The man who tried to crash the train car into the USNS Mercy 19 on April 2nd was trying to end the Masonic ritual. That makes a lot more sense now. I thought that he was maybe a setup. I thought maybe he was somebody who was going to try and get the news, the mainstream media, and everybody against conspiracy theorists saying that we're crazy and stuff. That makes a lot more sense. That he was trying to get that boat to sink or something. Wow, I didn't think about that at all. I don't think I made a video on that. I made a video about the 5G towers in England. So many are being taken down. Number 12, under the cloak of, but do not do bad behavior. Don't do bad behavior. Number 12, under the cloak of COVID-19, the government can take anybody they want. Every person who believes in government will believe this is for their own good. We are in our homes, so the Holy, and he got that wrong. Somebody said it in the interview. It's the specter of death. The Holy Ghost is not the specter of death. The Holy Ghost didn't kill all the firstborns in Egypt. The specter of death, right? And who is the specter of death? Right, in these modern times to them, the prince of the air, right? I would think the specter of death would be, frequency waves. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying that's how I kind of would look at it, right? That's how I'd look at it. A lot of people who don't know about frequencies being able to create exosomes to be a virus, to be a so-called virus, would say it's the plague, it's the virus, it's the CV. 19, So Holy Ghost can fly over our doorway. It's Black Death, not the Holy Ghost. Some of the stuff he says is like, he's not getting it right in my, how I understand religion and things. Can fly over our doorway and removing anyone with the wrong blood. If you don't know the meaning of Passover, it involves eating a goat, not breaking its bones, and smearing its blood over your doorway. Those with the mark of its blood were passed over. Everyone is under strict quarantine to keep everyone at home. If you don't trust the government, you might want to leave your house starting tomorrow for a week, or at least follow the Jewish laws of the Seder and Passover. Trump has already authorized pre-crime investigations, and now he has declared war on COVID-19. COVID-19 is humanity. We are not a virus. It's one thing he says in the interview, and I completely agree. We do not consent to any kind of ritual. We do not consent to this. We are not a virus, and the virus is not spreading how the mainstream media says, and we do not consent to honor the lives of the people that died during this, or died for anything, and have died of targeting, and have died from frequency weapons, who have died from maybe exosomes being released and having other issues. For their honor, we do not consent to this huge FF, this pandemic, and this satanic ritual that it seems to be going on 24 hours a day with many, many different things. I just think Passover is one where it's going to be a huge one. It's going to be a huge show to the world, right? Where they're putting up America as the sacrificial lamb. So we can't be sacrificial lambs. We've got to be lions. We've got to, if I'm going to die, I want it to, not just be like, hey, okay, well, I'm just giving up. I haven't given up this far, right? In targeted individuals, you have to see it like that. We've come this far. We've got to do something with what's happened to us. Because I know you can just be like, well, I've been tortured and experimented on for so long, and now this, whatever, But try and see it as we've come this far. We've fought so long. We got to fight through whatever comes our way, and do our little angles, right? We're not going to be able to just fix everything, but we got to get information out so other people, especially the Q thing, go to the Q videos. Wake up, wake up. We're losing our freedoms day by day. Please wake up, patriots. Please wake up, patriots. They're starting to wake from their slumber. Now's the time to get those patriots acting and civil disobedience. And we're going to have to think of stuff, Okay, so if you don't know, the meaning of Passover involves eating goat. Okay, I read that. If you don't trust the government, you might want to leave your house starting tomorrow for a week, or at least follow the Jewish laws of the Seder and Passover. Trump has already authorized pre-crime investigations, and now he has declared war on COVID-19. COVID-19 is humanity. And they can surveil into homes, but I don't think they would just, I know they wouldn't just infect all non-Jewish people or anything like that. I might get some wine and some unleavened bread just in case. Okay, so number 14, I don't know how to react and act at all, guys. Like, this is crazy, and I want to give people hope, and but I'm just putting this information out. This is insane, and I haven't not like my mind's pretty much going crazy. I'm stressed out. I got the V2K yelling at me, shooting me in the back with microwaves right here, and then doing the remote neural manipulation stuff, and then I've got this feeling that's beyond. It's a feeling that's beyond the stress of my mind, like a spiritual feeling, like when Yoda says, "Clouded everything is." Oh man, I forgot it again. I thought I had it earlier. It's hard to see. The future is cloud everything the dark side does. Can't do the voice. I'm trying to remember what he said. That's kind of, it's like this feeling of like something bad's coming, but it's like cloudy because there's so much darkness in the world right now. The dark side. So 14, the Passover ritual lasts for 7 days. Trump has said the next 2 weeks would be hard. He said a lot of people are going to die. 15, in Rome, only the representative of Jupiter, so if you guys didn't hear the interview, only the representative of Jupiter can sacrifice a human inside the city walls. This is why Trump's face is always painted orange. He is the Jupiter and the Cyrus. That's very interesting because that's what the triumph of Jupiter in Rome would look like, and he was able to have a human sacrifice, I think like one time a year or something like that, and everybody would follow him, and it would be like either a goat or a human, and he painted his face red, so he was like Jupiter on Earth. And it's really weird because you think like Donald Trump is so rich, right? Like, why couldn't he get something that blends in better, like makeup that blends in better? Look how orange that is. And everybody says orange man bad and everything like that. That's very interesting. I don't know. This guy is very smart though. Like, truth resonated from him. His name's James True. I'm sure, which isn't his original name. I'm sure he changed his name to that. But just what he was saying just rang true with the ritual that's being done to me. It's experimentation, it's all these other things, but I think without even the people knowing what they're doing, right? They think they're experimenting, they're scientist soldiers, or at least mine say that. It's a ritual. They do good cop, bad cop for a certain reason. So from the capstone of the pyramid, they have all these certain protocols of the trauma, of the experimentation, of the rape with these directed energy weapons, and it's a 24-hour-a-day ritual. Like, I'm an innocent young man. I was picked at birth. So, Aleister Crowley sacrificed all these innocent young boys. The more innocent that they are, the more power that it's going to be. And, like, I'm a really innocent... I'm not flawless. I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to be self-righteous. I'm just saying, like, I'm a good guy. I want to do good. I'm an innocent person. I don't do everything perfect, right? I drink. I smoke. Well, I'm going to have to stop smoking because my vape pens ran out and I can't go out now. Yeah, it's just a lot of things line up. A lot of things line up where it has all the hallmarks of these ancient mystery Babylon rituals. A lot of things that are happening in the world, and what's happening now with COVID-19. So, did I already read this one? Under the cloak of COVID-19. Oh, no, I read that. Okay. Oh, man, my memory's getting completely wiped. Number 16. 10 of 11 incense are burning in the third temple, and priests have asked Israel for permission to sacrifice a lamb on the mount, thereby initiating the irreversible temple ritual leading to Yom Kippur. Number 17, Trump is elected and works with Mossad. Everything Trump does is Kabbalah ritual oriented. And there are like the Kabbalah tree in his office. There are pictures where he had his office, I think in Manhattan or whatever, where there's the Kabbalah tree there. He's the definite Zionist. He's a Mason. So he's definitely these things. Number 18, the 2020 Yom Kippur, September 27, 16 days after the 19th anniversary of 9/11. On Yom Kippur, the Holy of Holies can be entered by the high priest in the Temple of Solomon. Why is that night different from all other nights? Read this article and see the similarities between the Passover and the C-virus quarantine. We are in the middle of a gigantic ritual, and every Goyim, Jew, and Zionist is participating by coercion and propaganda. Number 19, only by knowing this is happening can we turn this energy into something positive. So he does give like some kind of spiritual advice, to try and turn this into something positive. There is a powerful plasma behind belief and consent. Magic is a technology of presence, will, and sacrifice. The Passover sacrifice is humanity's innocence and trust of government as its shepherd. The only fix is to revoke your consent and place it back into the land. You have to place yourself deep into her soil and say you chose her over him. Awareness of their ritual and what is happening is the key to its alchemy. You must shift from lamb to lion if you want a good apocalypse. He says the term apocalypse really means the revealing. It doesn't necessarily mean destruction. But somehow that's been part of our propaganda, is to see it as destruction of everything, the revealing. So it puts us in a position of less power. So in 2 weeks, we'll either know how important it is to ignore everything I tell you, or I hope that's, and he does too. This is interesting. In 2 weeks, we'll either know how important it is to ignore everything I tell you, or we'll forget I even wrote this article, as things will be so different it won't matter. Either way, I have no idea what's going to happen. My desire for it not to be true is the only proof I can offer against this prediction. Sadly, my desire for it not to happen is the main thing blinding me from seeing it more clearly. That's interesting right there, because like when I'm showing, I don't want it to happen, but I feel like I have a responsibility to show, like, there's just, all these red flags are there of some kind of event, the timing and everything, and how these people up at the top do their rituals on holy days and everything like that, and then what's been set up if they don't cement the power right, and get everybody even more fearful, right? People are starting to wake up. The Q people are starting to wake up. The public's starting to say, this doesn't seem right. This is weird. Like, it's not really coming together. Like, I keep seeing that. I keep seeing that this is not coming together like I would think they would want it to come together. And I keep getting very hopeful, right? I keep getting very hopeful that people are going to realize this isn't going to work. Like, this is just too obvious. But if they do some big event during Passover, it would scare people and traumatize them back into cognitive dissonance. So I mean that's what I see. Okay, so there hasn't been one thing honest about this virus or Trump's response. Everything I am predicting has happened before in our past. These people have always cut down the sacred groves. They have always chopped down the forest. They have always spread pulverized bones over the land to cover up our ancestors. Those same people who did 9/11 control our government now. They knew Trump was coming since before he was born. It's not a prophecy from God. It's a ritual spell read from a Talmudic scroll as a blueprint for world slavery. That's what Passover is, the Jewish people coming out of slavery and naming themselves masters of Lord technology. Now this gets kind of weird. I don't know if I want to read. I'll read this, and I like one part of it, and I'll show you all the one part that I like. I'll read it just to give y'all all the information of what he's saying. A lot of it sounds really weird, and I don't believe in it. So let's see. Lord technology is Saturn worship. I do believe that. It's the religion. Okay, no. So Lord technology is Saturn worship. It's the religion of slavery and narcissism. All academia, governments, and courts are Saturn worship. Christ is real. I agree with that. But people are worshiping a human sacrifice. He was the Passover lamb. To give him your prana is to feed it to the owners of the ritual. The true cross, or Christ, is a spiritual astringent, the most crucial archetype you can have to survive Saturnism. So maybe that's one of the reasons why when we call in the name of Jesus Christ, pray in the name of Jesus Christ, even Robert Duncan said it, with our targeting, it weakens it. It weakens its hold, because it has Saturn worship, Satanism within our targeting, and we need to call on Christ now. We need to pray in the name of Jesus Christ to God, and I'm going to do that at the end. I'm going to do that at the end of it. I'm almost done, guys. It's really hard to get through this because I'm being hit, and they turn up the V2K. But let's just get through it. Let's get through it. And I'm going to put all this stuff, all of this in the description. And then I think I'm going to do like a premiere. So I'll be hanging out in the chat with you guys. It's like 3:40 a.m. in the morning right now. So I'll probably put it out about at like 4:30 in the morning. So probably, well, whoever's up. I know we have sleep deprivation. My sleep cycle is completely off. Okay, so the true cross, or Christ, is a spiritual astringent, the most crucial archetype you can have to survive Saturnism. Christianity is a government trauma cult made by Saturnalians to keep you docile, meek, egoless, and dumb. I don't think I believe that. The Bible was a relic of Lord technology written to gaslight you. I don't think I believe that. The book sucks all of your cosmology about God into a black hole of scripture. It's a vacuum where your creativity and prana are sucked into deep space. So I don't agree with any of this. And he spells apocalypse wrong. But anyway, that's the end of that information. And y'all can come check it out because I'll put it in the let's see his credentials. Let's look up his credentials. About that. Bio. Let me get something. So he does private consulting. He was in the U.S. Navy. I earned my bachelor's degree in philosophy religion while serving in the U.S. Navy as a sub-hunter. After graduation, I worked as an art director in the newspaper business and published a syndicated cartoon strip. I'm a self-taught software engineer producing solutions for Autodesk, Cisco, Cure Autism Now, EMC, Stanford University, Sun Microsystems, VMware, and the Weather Channel. Some of my code has been mentioned in Wired Magazine, and I co-authored a technical manual for video streaming servers. I have launched several software products over the years while pursuing commissions in outdoor sculpture. I've had work in galleries in Asheville, Black Mountain, and Boone, North Carolina. My commissioned art installations were seen at the Black Mountain Musical Festival, Halloween, Electric Forest, the Love Burn. Okay. I am the chairperson for my county Libertarian Party, but my heart is in the bioregionalism. My first book as was released in October of 2018, called The Spell of Six Dragons. My second book, Blueprints of Mind Control, came out February of 2019. My third book, The Technology of Belief, was released in the fall of 2019. That's interesting bio. So let's go to the beginning of this real quick. A little bit more here. Let's go to the beginning and just have him start out kind of explaining things. We'll listen to it a couple minutes, and then I'll close it out with prayer. How about that?
2020, or at least that's what they're trying to convince us. I've had something stuck in my head since this entire thing started, and it made no sense to me. And it's why they would park these ships on either coast and just leave them there. Well, I did a live stream with Dr. Kaufman, James True, who's sitting right here with me. I think we did that last week, right? Your mic's muted, I believe, brother.
Yeah, I didn't want to talk. I didn't want any pickup noise, but yeah, that was me.
Yeah, so James has a website, and I'm going to show this to you, but this is James True. James, tell us what your website is called real quick.
jtrue.com is in James True.
I'm going to try and find the part. I don't, oh man.
And you'll get a security warning because I'm trying to steal your credit card.
They
revoked my certificate a week ago, so if you see that, that's why. But anyway,
I'm shocked.
I'm not taking your money, guys. I've never asked for your credit card. Just hear that. If you want to see the article, there it is.
All right, so
here we go.
I believe you posted on Twitter, which usually I don't even go on.
Okay, I want you guys to listen to this part, and especially targeted individuals pay attention to this.
The truth of what government is. It's a predator, a predatory machine. As each of us wake up from this ritual, it's ruining their black magic spell because they're no longer able to harvest as much hope from us. That's why they've painted the apocalypse as a destructive act, even though the word itself means an uncovering, an opening up act. Back to the two towers and what Richie's talking about. The symbolism is that on either side of the coast, on the west coast and the east coast, you've got two ships, and those are Templar ships. They have the Red Cross. These are the two pillars. One is justice, one is mercy. In this case, it's mercy and comfort. Mercy is a form of harsh justice. I will give you mercy literally means I will kill you quickly. These are the severity, and the mercy is part of the trance spell. You're locked between the two where you don't know which.
You hear that? Okay, let him finish.
Do I want someone to kill me slowly? Do I want someone to kill me quickly? That's literally what causes your reptilian brain that's gone into shock to be stuck between the two.
So you cause your reptilian brain to go into shock, and you're stuck in between the two. It's like shock and trauma. So think about it. You men and women, you ladies and gentlemen with V2K, where you have a good cop and a bad cop. Think about that. It gets you confused, cognitive dissonance, and it's also part of a ritualized thing where mercy and justice, right? Just so weird to think about it. I never thought about the ritualized nature of that. I guess we all need to start looking at this. I mean, they are revealing the method, right? They're revealing the method all over the internet, and people are coming out and talking about it and everything like that. So we've got to learn about it so we can fight it.
that keeps you focused, that keeps your prana focused into the center of those two towers. In the center of those two towers is a third tower. That third tower is called the resurrection. That resurrection, if you were to look at this through resonance, you will find that those two towers are democracy, communism, Christianity, Islam. And in between those two things, you have Zionism, you have Talmudic Judaism, you have dark Cabal, you have a hidden third tower. The Building 7 was
Hidden
a sacrifice between the two towers. There's always a third hidden element. This is why they've stretched out these two ships between our country. We are inside the two towers. Just like the New Yorkers, the 2,996 people that were sacrificed were inside the two towers of New York. Keep in mind, all black magic is about resonance, which means you could build off the resonance and compound that 19 times. And that's exactly what's happening right now. All this to say that the third temple is being opened in Israel. Richie, I'm going to stop just for now in case you want to say something, but there's a lot we need to talk about the third temple also.
The only thing I want to do is just, for people that are jumping in, clarify this. I've talked about this, I've talked about this, thousands of channels have talked about this. The Twin Towers, the Pentagon, 9/11 was an enormous crime, an enormous false flag, and it was an enormous satanic ritual right in front of everybody's face. They took down the two towers, which are what James is talking about, that represent Jachin and Boaz, their Freemasonic rights, etc., etc. Well, it turns out they're setting us up again. The two ships on either coast, the East Coast and the West Coast, right now represent Jachin and Boaz. And I've had this stuck in my head since they first rolled in.
I know what all this,
all the links up right now.
I know what this crisis looks like right now and the way it's building up and everything, but I feel like there is going to be an event during Passover. I really don't just feel that. I'm looking at all the warning signs. I'm seeing how they do things every time. I'm looking at all these ritualistic things. There's red flags there, and then this feeling that I've never felt before. And you guys know, I don't want to frighten anybody, but we need to be prepared. These people are sick. And especially people who've been targeted and experimented on, we know how sick these people are. They torture people in their homes 24 hours a day for years and years without people knowing it. And now I think it's actually like part of this revelation of the method, doing it in front of the whole world, with America as the sacrificial lamb. And I think what we can do, we still need to have hope that maybe even if bad stuff happens, that we can be good and we can help people. And we can, fight for our freedoms, even though they're being lost every day, every second of the day in this just insane outer limits twilight zone. But become the lion, right? Not the lamb. Not to just sit on our haunches and wait. And that's what I think Q is doing to a lot of patriots. So that would be one way we could wake up a lot of lions, right? That's a lot of lions, those patriots. They'll get into people's faces. They'll get into people's faces and fight for their freedoms if they understand that that's a bunch of Kool-Aid. That's like Jim Jones, like, hey, I'm Q, just drink the Kool-Aid, we all need to go to sleep. So I think we need to start going to Q channels. I think there needs to be a movement to wake those patriots up, so we'll have more people thinking about ways that we can civilly disobey. I think we're going to have to go beyond that. I think we're going to have to go beyond civil disobedience.
Saying that they're lying about the numbers of people dying. Like, they're using mannequins on the main street. If there's so many people dying, why would you even have a mannequin? You wouldn't even have time for any of that stuff. They're lying. So why put up all these trauma tents? And why is the military, right to this moment, rolling into small towns and offloading massive non-medical trucks? When I found this blog by James this morning or last night, I had to get him back on, and I think you have nailed it. You have absolutely nailed it. These two ships represent Jachin and Boaz. This is going to be 9/11 on steroids, like no one has ever seen before. So go ahead.
I sure hope not.
No one has stopped anyone for 9/11. No one was
really
punished.
Hope that it's just
Nothing
done
bad
in some
happened
kind
to
of
anyone
trick way
involved.
where not a lot of people die.
It's been primed as a sacrificial lamb for centuries. That's why we've had it so good. That's why while we're destroying the rest of the world. Keep in mind, since World War II, we've invaded or bombed a new country every 1.29 years. Nothing we vote for, nothing we say changes that at all. Because we are the innocent lamb of the shepherd of government, we are immune to what it is they're doing. We are under the impression that it is nothing but benevolence.
Let's see what this guy said. Says if Q, I can't read it. If Q was real, something would be put in federal prison for leaking. He would be put in prison for leaking sensitive information to the public. That's why Q is a psyop. That's how the military works. I really believe. Hey, listen to that X-22 guy. That's insane. Like, he's saying everything's about to be put back to normal. Like, Donald Trump's in control. He's talking about, like, draining the swamp at this moment. Just the X-22 report is insane. And people are starting to get angry in the comments going, it's always about to happen, and we're, like, losing all of our freedoms. They're starting to wake up. They're starting to get mad. They're starting to be like, nothing's happening, and all this bad stuff is happening. What are you talking about? You know, we need to speed that up. We need to wake some more of those people up and get them over here. Get them over here. Shake them out of it fast. You know, I kind of was trying to be hopeful about that because it was a lot of hope. But it does seem like part of the actual ritual to get people asleep and hopeful and consenting. Consenting without understanding, right? Consenting without understanding, but silence is consent. And if they trick us into consent, it's still consent nonetheless to these evil, you know, it's just all insane. Like, just the satanic ritual stuff is just all insane, and it just seems like a justification. It's just making them feel better, like saying, oh, well, if we tell them before when they don't even really know, it clears our karma. It just seems like a giant trick by Satan, you know, to make people do evil things.
That's how you raise a sacrificial lamb. You can't just go buy any lamb and sacrifice it. That lamb's going to be afraid of you. You need that lamb to trust and love you. They are doing this same sacrifice through resonance by taking it up the chain and making it a human instead. But instead of it being one human, which happened a long, long time ago, they've made it 2,996 humans at 9/11. And now it's going to be 56 million across America. And in my opinion, what's happening here is that you have...
It's really interesting how he said it may be 56 million across America, and then you had Event 201 saying at the end of 18 months, 65 million people had died from their simulated virus, which was a type of the C virus. I just found that interesting, how it's like it is an inverted 65. I don't know where he came up with that number.
You can recognize the truth of what's physically happening in front of you right now. And by recognizing that truth, there is a consent extraction. You are pulling back.
I'm not sure if y'all are hearing me or if it just cut off, but if you can hear me, I'm just trying to wait for my computer for it to unfreeze. And then I'll see if the recording is still going. And I watched my my live stream from the other day. I was watching some of it back to just read the chat and stuff like that, and it kept freezing up. Like, it kept freezing up to where it would I would stop, I'd freeze up, and then it would, like, I'd start talking really fast because it was like they were slowing it down and then it'd speed up, right? That was just complete hacking. They're just hacking everything I'm doing now. Let's see if it's still going. Okay, it's still going, so you guys should be able to hear me. Let me try and get it back. Okay, hold. Try and get it back up. Let me make the window smaller here. Maybe that'll work. I'm telling y'all, if y'all can still hear me, I'm not sure if y'all can still hear me, but whenever I start talking about like Masons or like rituals and stuff like that,
consent from
there
this
we go.
Magic, and it's tainting your blood. Your blood will no longer be
I don't know if you guys can see me in the window.
Different. It will change what it is they're doing. Right now, we're feeding them our prana, our belief all the time. I realize this sounds super new agey to some of you guys, and I'm fucking sorry. I'm actually pretty grounded to the earth. I'm just telling you how this works. Belief is a plasma. It's a physical, it's plasma. It's a physical entity that you can extend and give to somebody. We give our consent to the government. This is part of the apocalypse. That consent is the covering up of what government really is. It's just simply mafia with fancier ties. This ritual, the reason why they're allowed to do this is because they keep telling you over and over again, hey guys, here comes the towers. Anyone in between is going to get fucking killed. And everyone's like, okay, all is fine, everything's fine, government's cool, everyone's just a conspiracy theorist. This is part of the self-soothing that we all do to psychologically deal with what's happening around us. This is a result of you being gelded from birth. Your parents have been gelded. Epigenetically, you've had your balls cut off for decades and decades, and it's showing right now.
Big time.
Making
Big
us
time.
the
Sorry,
innocent
but I had to say that.
We're feeding the innocence into our blood by being so fucking naive and clinging to hope like it's a thumb that we can suck on. That's why they're going to keep doing it to us. And that's why right now, what is happening right now is actually not a disaster. Right now at this moment, it is nothing but potential energy for change. And most of you guys have already noticed that. You're able to tap into the soil a little bit more. You're able to plant some roots in the land, and you're
So that's a good message, right? That's a good message, and it's something. And the camera window is frozen up, so I don't know if you guys can see me on there. But that's a good message, that it's like, this isn't really destruction. All this is energy for change, right? So even for good people. So if we tap into our, well, let me get nerdy, into our inner Jedi, right? And we tap into our belief. In the name of Jesus Christ, we believe in God's power. We can take some of that power, right? We can take some of that power and do good and stop this, right? So we need to go to war with it. We need to go to war with this evil ritual in any way that we can. He said one good way is, if you see anything about the C virus, we could maybe have a piece of paper that says, humanity is not a virus, and staple it on there, and it hinders some of their ritual. But guys, okay, my attackers have frozen up this program, so I'm not even sure if it's recording anymore. You guys go check out this whole interview, Setting America Up for Passover Ritual, on Richie from Boston channel. The guy's name is James True. I mirrored it on my channel, and I just wanted to make some other connections there with the High Impact Vlogs, his video, and the PNAC, the Project for a New American Century, which is now it's like all these other different agencies, and they still do these things. They still do these not only psychological operations, but terrorist operations on American soil to control the American people and make them do what they want to, right? And at this point, there's other things that are global, way more global than PNAC, that are creating the Hegelian dialectics they want worldwide. So let's end it with a prayer, guys, and then I'll go ahead and I'll premiere this. So it can kind of go out like a live stream. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, in the name of Jesus Christ. Dear Lord, please just cover us with your blood during this Passover. Please just protect us, protect our families. Please give us the instinct and the divine sight to see what's coming and to do our best as good people against it. Please help all targeted individuals that are suffering to find defenses, nutrition, and supplements and things like that to feel better. Please just protect us in this time and give us wisdom to know where to go from here, to know what to say, the words to say, the information to put out, how to be assertive about this, and do the best that we can. Please, just whatever your will is, Lord, whatever your will is, but please help us. Have mercy on your people, Lord. Please just have mercy on us and give us a way. Give us a way through this. Do not let the New World Order come in. Please let these plans be foiled. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. In the name of Jesus Christ. Alright, guys, I'm not sure if y'all can see me, but I love y'all. And I'll go ahead and put this out in a couple of minutes. Thank you for listening. I love you guys. Let's just be prepared. But let's stay hopeful but assertive, assertive in action, assertive in faith, assertive in hope, but not get complacent and just wait, right? And let's try and watch the signs, see what happens this week, and just stay vigilant and do what you can while you can. All right, guys, endure in faith. I love y'all.